Excellent. So, Endless Sky is a free open source. It's 2 free open source games back to back on the stream. So, you know, you're getting your money's worth today. A free open source game where that is a remake effectively of something called Escape Velocity. Escape Velocity is a game that I played in my youth, way back in the dark ages before high-speed internets and anything like that, and high-res screens. I had a game called Escape Velocity. This is a wonderful game that was only available on the Mac, which is what I had. There was a company, I can't remember the name of it anymore, that made Escape Velocity and a bunch of Mac games, and they were all wonderful, and it was great. So it's a 2D sort of sandboxy RPG space sim game with, you know, trading and combat and different things like that. Eventually they came out with Escape Velocity Nova, which was also available on Windows and is still available today, and is a wonderful game. But people have decided to make an open source remake effectively of Escape Velocity, and they called it Endless Sky. And it's very much the same game, and it's great stuff. So definitely recommend it. You can just get it from, you know, their page. It's also on Steam. Again, it's free, so hooray, hurrah. I'm gonna make a new character here, so do I wanna delete the old one? I'd started recording some videos, that's why I started with this one. Yeah, you know what? We'll delete this. We'll just start fresh, it's gonna be fine. It's whiskey and chocolate. More consolidation whiskey and chocolate, maybe. Who does? It's Cooler Man Santa! You'll try the final station at some point. I will add that to my list. Cool. I'm not familiar with what that is, but I will definitely add it to the list. Thank you very much. I have 2 copies of the dashboard open, so let's hide that. Okay. It's free. Who doesn't love free? Back when screens didn't have 16-bit color. No, I guess you're right. I guess it would have been 8-bit colors. Because I remember, even in university, I got a book that was to build your own 3D engine. And I mean, like, from scratch. Like, the inner loop was a little bit of assembler. Or assembly, depending on how you prefer to say it. And I think, I think I did the whole thing in C++. But it only worked in 8-bit color. So when I upgraded my computer and got a 16-bit video card, that code wouldn't work anymore because it all assumed certain things about the architecture. Oh, the bad old days. The bad old days. Where'd you go to uni? Ottawa, actually. And I always assumed I would end up in Ottawa because Ottawa back then was Canada's Silicon Valley. And then just circumstances happened to play out that I came home for the summer for a summer job and stayed because it went job to job to job to job, and it was just like, oh, okay. Anyway, let's play some in the sky. So I think the backstory of this is we've spent our life so far working in a factory. I think it's a clothing factory or textiles mill. We get some extra background at some point. But we finally saved up enough to put down a down payment on a spaceship, but we also need a loan. So here we are in the bank. The bank's architecture is what you would have called futuristic, back when you dreamed that the future would be less squalid than the present. Story above story of curves and spires and balconies, all in gleaming metal. A doorman stands by each of the heavy glass doors. You are wearing your very best clothes, but you feel shabby next to them. The loan broker's office is equally intimidating. Large computer monitors fill the walls with stock quotes and other information spilling down, almost too fast to read. You occasionally glimpse the names of places that you've only seen in movies. Aldebaran, Tarzed, Earth. The pen is heavy as lead, but glides almost without friction as you print your initials on the bottom of page after page of ominous legal documents and sign several dozen statements, notices, and agreements. The banker, a balding middle-aged man in a suit that you suspect costs more than the spaceship you're about to purchase, flips the pages past you quickly, uttering a curt, sign here, now here, as he points to each page. He moves swiftly, mechanically. The only moment when he becomes truly animated is when explaining the truth in lending statement to you. You are borrowing 480,000 credits, he says, to be repaid over the course of 1 year. Your daily interest, is 0.4%, which means that your daily payments are 2,503 credits, and by the end of the year, you will have paid 434,000 credits in interest. Sign here. He grins. You sign your name one final time. Quill 18. There we go. The elevator is so well tuned that you do not even realize it is moving until it has deposited you back in the lobby. But as you leave the bank, you're smiling. This crazy adventure suddenly feels real to you. You're going to do it. You're finally going to get off this planet. Compared to the bank, you feel much more at home in the shipyard, walking among the rusted out hulks. It's a loan shark. He's a robot. Rusted out hulks and newer ships that gleam in the sunlight. You smell grease and dirt and rocket fuel. Wonderful smells. There are 3 ship models within your price range. Which one you choose will determine your future. So indeed, at the start, we get to choose between a shuttle, a star barge, and a Sparrow interceptor. So this is not a class thing. It's just the missions that you will get early on. The missions are going to scale or sort of adapt themselves to what your ship is and situations like that, especially the tutorial. So go with a Sparrow, a little interceptor, a little pew-pew, a couple of laser beams kind of thing. You know, maybe we'll do some pirate hunting or stuff early on. There's the Star Barge over here. Slow as hell. Slow as hell. Star Barge is a little more than a cluster of cargo containers with an engine at one end and a cockpit at the other. It is a slow and ugly ship, but it can carry enough cargo to earn its captain a steady income, even in parts of the galaxy where it's hard to find passengers to carry or courier missions. Because they often carry valuable cargo, and because they are too slow to evade any attackers, Star Barges are common targets of pirates. But we're going to start with a shuttle, and the reason is, in the classic escape velocity, a shuttle is what you started with. It is the cheapest of them all, right? Sparrow is at 448. The freighter's at 401. The shuttle's only at 349. So we might be able to repay a little bit of loan right away. Sounds like backstory for a pirate. But we're going to start with the shuttle because that is the canonical start to escape velocity. The shuttle only has 20 tons of cargo space, as opposed to the Star Barge, which has 50. On the other hand, the Star Barge has 3 bunks, one of which is occupied by you, so it has room for 2 passengers. The shuttle has room for 5 extra passengers. So it can still ferry some goods around, it can still carry some passengers around, so we'll be doing a lot more mission work than trading early on with the shuttle here. Although Beetlejuice Shipyards produces other ship models as well, the majority of their profits come from the sales of the shuttle. This versatile ship serves equally well as a passenger transport or a cargo courier. It also happens to be the cheapest ship you can buy, which is capable of hyperspace travel. Shuttles are not designed to withstand combat of any sort, but they are fast and maneuverable, enough to get out of harm's way if attacked by a larger, slower ship. Although they are typically unarmed, they have enough space for one weapon, which is the origin of the popular phrase, as useless as a blaster cannon on a shuttlecraft. Escape Velocity, one of my favorite series of all time. Yeah, me too. Oteositis. So, we're going to purchase the shuttle, which is going to be called the Sprout. Boom. The Sprout. So we still have 130 bucks left over. So we're going to leave this shop, and we are on our first planet screen for the first time, but we're going to be introduced to a little tutorial mission, which we're totally going to do. With some trepidation, you give the shipyard owner your money and take your new ship for a test drive, piloting out of the shipyard and onto a spare landing pad by the spaceport. Then you get out and look the ship over a bit more closely. You're busy polishing out a few rust spots with a piece of steel wool. Now that is some high-tech spaceship maintenance. This is exactly why I love science fiction, because of how, like, crazy the technology is. When an old man in grease-stained coveralls walks up, "Nothing like buying your very first starship," he says. Yeah, I'm still kind of in shock over how much money I spent. He grins. "I know the feeling. It's a crime how much interest the banks charge to first-timers. It's been that way ever since I first started out." "You're a captain?" you ask. "Was," he says. "Sold off my fleet a few days ago, and I already miss it. But it was time for me to retire." His voice trails off and his face lights up. "Say, any chance I could hitch a ride with you? Maybe show you the ropes, give you some pointers. I could pay you, of course." "Sure, where are you trying to get to?" "Well," he says, "I've got a spot reserved in a retirement home, but don't mind taking a roundabout way to get there. For starters, how about you give me a lift to New Greenland? It's just 1 jump away from here. I could mark it on your map." Sounds like a scammer. This is fine. Steel wool comes from the electric sheep that androids dream of. Nice, bro. "Sounds good." "Great," he says. "My name is James, by the way." "Quill 18, you say." Do I do a good Quill 18 impression? "I'm looking forward to traveling with you, Captain 18, says James. As you're helping him wheel his luggage aboard and showing him his bunk, he says, "Before we take off, you might head on over to the trading center and stock up on medical goods. We can sell those for a good profit on New Greenland. Or take a look at the Outfitter if you like, but they don't sell much here compared to on the big manufacturing worlds." There we go. 5/7 impression. Nice. I've seen better. Could work on the Quill 18 impression, actually. Okay, I'll try my best. I'll see what I can do. So we're on the planet New Boston. We're in the reticulus system, planet New Boston. I love the photos too. New Boston is a completely unremarkable world, except, of course, for the fact that you happen to have been born here. Most of the land is wet and marshy, and the coastal regions are prone to flooding. Some food crops are grown here, but most of the farmers instead plant flax and jute, which grow well in wet soil and are used to make linen and burlap cloth. The textile mills are hot and poorly ventilated, but they offer higher and more reliable income than farming. So we got a bunch of different actions we can take. We can check out the outfitter to maybe make some modification to our ships. There's not a whole lot of stuff on this planet, as was indicated by Captain James there. The way your ship design works is you have certain hard points. So, for example, we have a gun port we can install a weapon on. So we have one weapon port free of one. In addition to that, your outfits, all the equipment that you can add to a ship or outfit to a ship, occupies a certain amount of space. And there are limitations. You can only have so much weapon capacity and engine capacity. And so, 10 of that, 60 of this, and then presumably, you can fit the extra 50 with miscellaneous whatevs. We only have 8 outfit space free. It would be potentially nice to add more steering. So our speed's really good. Max speed of 405 is very fast. Our acceleration, likewise, is really good in a shuttle. Over 200 here is quite speedy, especially compared with the other starting options. The problem is our turning rate's really poor. And the turning rate's kind of important when we're jumping around, because to do a hyperspace jump, you have to come to a complete stop and face the direction you want to go in. So you jump into the system and you land it, you're arriving at full speed. So you got to turn, slow down, turn again to align for a jump, and then jump. And in the meantime, that's a lot of time for a pirate to rip you a new one. So, are we on a Star Wars planet? Well, maybe. So it would be nice to add some extra steering. The problem is, even the lightest steering module, the X1200 ion steering, needs 12 space, and it has to be engine space as well. We have the engine capacity, but we don't have enough just pure outfit space. We'd have to strip something off. I don't think I want to strip off my shield generator, and everything else that we have is kind of required. So is Captain 18's goal to eventually buy a new farm on a planet that can grow Brussels sprouts? Maybe. Maybe that can be our thing. So we'll leave for now, although we could buy a local map. Let's actually check out the map in general here. So this is the map of space. There's a lot of stars in this game. I don't know, a couple hundred, something like that. We don't start off with knowledge of most of them. We've got a few blips here because there's actually some missions being advertised, some jobs on the job board to those systems. So we're sort of aware of their existence, but we don't know how to get there, which does, in a story-wise or setting-wise, doesn't really make sense. Like, why can't we just buy star charts? We can buy local star charts. We'll go back to the outfitter and get the local map over here. There's going to be a map of the 12 closest systems. It's only 1,000 credits, so we may as well pick it up. And now all of a sudden we've got information on the jump lanes nearby, which will at least help. I don't know what the radius is here. It's not jump distance or anything like that. Maybe we're getting updated market information from everything within the radius. I actually don't know what that circle represents. I don't think that was something in escape velocity. Most things in this game are similar to escape velocity, but there's a few things that are tweaked. Are all planets named after nations? A lot of things are named after nations or cities. It's not, it's not a fuel limit, cool man, because we have, okay, so our shuttle has 400 fuel. Each hyperspace jump costs 100 fuel. Just putzing around in the system doesn't cost any fuel. So it means we can jump 4 systems away, which is more than the map is indicating. Shuttle's quite good for this. The freighter that we were looking at only had 300 fuel capacity, so it could only make 3 jumps between refueling. So between the higher speed and the higher fuel capacity, the shuttle can really jump around a lot faster. And it's quite good at various carrying jobs. Anyway, Captain James suggested that we go and purchase some medical equipment, which is indeed purchased for a low price over here. What I do like about this game is if you open the map here and you're in the trade thing, you can actually click on any system and see the price differential. So we're going to the Arcturus system over here. You can see that medical equipment is, we turn a profit of 94 credits per unit of medicine that we transport. So it is indeed a good thing to purchase here in Reticulus to sell off in Arcturus. We can also see, every place that's got, various outfitters and things like that. missions, all kinds of things. There's a job board. We're not gonna do the job boards or visit the spaceport right now, the bar, which is another place where we can get stuff. I will visit the bank though, and I'm gonna pay off some of my loan because the interest per day is ridiculous. Our first priority is gonna be to pay off all of our loan. So I'm gonna start by putting down 100,000, keep ourselves with 18,000 credits, and depart. Unlike EU4, you don't have to worry about. Oh, there's some fighting going on somewhere. I think the volumes are a little low. I don't know, maybe not. Preferences. We'll bring it up a little. There's some ship. Oh, there, over there. Some combat. Oh, okay, it's not combat. He's just mining an asteroid. Still, I do feel like the systems are always really live. Oh, well, there's some actual proper fighting going on there. Nope, nope, still hunting a rock. So we're starting the Republic, and right now, everything is at peace in the Republic, and I'm sure it always will remain at peace forever and ever and ever. Anyway, let's go to Arcturus. So we just select it on the map and then hit J to jump. If we select a destination several jumps away, and you hit J, it'll jump, then it'll autopilot all the way there. Same thing, if you hit L, by default, it'll land on the closest habited planet on autopilot for you, which is handy. That's some whiskey and chocolate coming in from Banana Cabana. If your character is from New Boston, you should try speaking with a Boston accent. Oh, Jesus. I'm bad at doing proper accents. Just gotta drop all my R's, right? Something like that. As you land on New Greenland, James says, "Congratulations on your first trip through hyperspace. I'm impressed that you didn't throw up. Most folks do the first time." "Including you?" you ask. "Yes, and then spent half an hour in orbit cleaning my cabin while hoping the passengers wouldn't come out of their bunk room and see the mess. Not my proudest moment. Anyway, here's your pay." He hands you 10,000 credits. Then he adds, "If you're okay with giving me a lift for a while longer, sell off any of that cargo you bought and then meet me in the spaceport. I'll see if I can rustle up any interesting work for you to do." All right, so we'll go to the trading thing. We'll sell off our medical, so yep, profit of 86 per unit. Boop. And then we'll go to the spaceport. You begin strolling through the spaceport, walking briskly in order to keep warm and wondering if it might be worth investing in a good winter coat for visiting planets like this one. Eventually you find James. He has an entire family in tow. A young couple, an elderly woman, and 4 children who range in age from probably about 3 or 4 to 12 or 13. So this is one of the things where the tutorial diverges. If you pick the cargo ship, you would get a different mission here, and presumably if you pick the military ship, you would get a different one here. I did it once with the cargo ship, so that's why I sort of have some basis there. Just say wicked in every sentence. Right, okay. "Captain 18, he says. "Wonderful to see you again. I was just talking to this family. They've been having trouble finding a single ship that can give them all passage, but I told them that your shuttlecraft has plenty of bunks, at least if the children double up. They can pay you 40,000 credits to take them to New China, which is only a few jumps away from Earth, and is a planet well worth visiting in its own right. What do you say?" You're absolutely sure that your shuttle was not designed to fit 9 people, including yourself, but if they're willing to squeeze into the available 5 bunks, you've got no reason to discourage them. "Sure! Welcome aboard! It'll be wicked fun! I'll meet you at the harbor." I can't do accents, man. I can do some voices, but like proper accent, it's really beyond me. "Sure, welcome aboard." James helps the older woman up the steps and into your ship while the young family members carry the luggage. You're gonna have quite the full ship for the next few days. All right, so we can check the map here, see our mission. It's Merrick over here, the little blue tick. That's where we're going. So New China is presumably in the Merrick system. I actually don't know how to get there. Presumably, I can probably skirt up this way, or maybe I have to go through Sol and through the Nebula. We'll see. I'm gonna try going in this direction first. Now, it'd be really good to do some trading, just bring some extra stuff. We could also check the job board. Yeah, so see these orange ticks? These are places where there are missions, but that color orange tick is a mission I can't do because I have no space. Yeah, I'd have to bring 2 passengers over there, and my bunks are full. Over here, you can also look at all the missions. You can see the ones that you can do. They're like in white or brighter color, whereas the grayed out ones are ones you don't have the means to do it because you don't have the capacity. So I don't know if we're going to be able to double up on anything. I don't know what I can necessarily sell somewhere. It would be nice to do a little bit. I think I'll buy some clothing. It's low value here, so we'll max out on clothing and hope we can sell it somewhere for profit. We're gonna try to jump. Well, we'll jump to Mizar first and see what it looks like. Totally go to New Denmark so we can buy some Danish beers. There probably is a New Denmark. So I'm gonna go here. So Mizar's uninhabited. Gotta make sure not to run out of fuel if we can help it. You can see how long it takes my shuttle to turn and realign. It's the one downside. Oh, new whales! Hey, hey! I wonder if they breed sheep. Ooh, it's hilly. New Wales is home to a few mining outposts. Oh, I don't think I read the description of the last city, or the last planet. Whoops. New Wales is home to a few mining outposts which extract and refine rare earth minerals and heavy metals. It is dangerous work. The mines are deep underground and prone to noxious gases and cave-ins, and the refineries work with molten radioactive materials and caustic chemicals. Due to the somewhat dim light of the star Algorel and the cloudiness of the atmosphere, it is not a good world for farming, and the population remains quite small. Got me reminiscing about Freelancer with this game. I mean, there's so many sort of sandboxy space sim games out there, and they've been around for so long, which is great. Oh, I can sell the clothing at a profit here. Let's just do it. Excellent. We'll check the job board. No, nothing. Oh, there's an outfitter. Good, because what I can do is I can buy a local map. And then, there we go. So we can get to Merrick through Fekda over here. Nice. And actually, now that we have some information, we can check the trades. Looks like food would give us the biggest profit per unit at plus 190. So even though we're buying it medium here, we're gonna make the biggest profit selling food over on Merrick. Awesome. Well, let's set that. And it automatically, it's pretty smart about color coding. When you're just looking at the map, it'll color code all the systems based on the profit you can expect from the inventory you have. It just defaults to selecting one. And that's kind of nice. All right, let's yump. Oh, heavy metals was higher profit? Did it? Oh, I missed it. I was trying to look fast. Ooh, lots of asteroids. So you don't collide against asteroids. You're smart enough to pilot above or below them. But they do block shots. There you go, New China. We have such a small ship compared to everyone else. Along the journey, you learn that the family you're transporting are named the Hendersons, and they're moving to New China mostly because they hope the urban setting will be better for their kids than New Greenland. Oh, that's the planet I was on. Where there were hardly any children at all, and their village only had a few thousand people in it. Their grandmother, Olivia, has also been chattering nonstop about how excited she is about being on the world where she can actually go sunbathing. I've gotten much too old for snowshoeing, but apparently not too old to go sunbathing. You go, Granny, you go. You say goodbye to them and wish them well, as agreed, they pay you 40,000 credits. You are already well on your way towards paying down your mortgage. As James leaves the ship, he says, again, if you're okay with continuing to give me a ride, just meet me in the spaceport. All right. Well, first, let's go and sell the FUD. Boom. And then let's check the spaceport. Man, James' voice is actually hurting my throat, so I may have to stop doing the old man thing. It doesn't take you long to find James in the New China spaceport. He's already got a small group of people with him, a middle-aged couple and a teenage boy. Hey there, Captain 18, says James in his new voice. Interested in carrying some tourists to Earth? Sure! Great, he says. This is Chuck and Sarah and their son Carl. Let's help them carry their luggage to your ship. As you begin walking back, slightly ahead of them, James whispers to you. Tourists are always a good way to make money. They're on vacations, they don't mind paying a bit extra, but no